because I think I was very much in the way of manifesting my
Many
person.
people block their manifestations because they get too much in the way.
Yep.
They try to control the universe too much, that then the universe is like, okay, well, you're the one that's in control, then not me.
So I have no place to work.
I have no place to work. I'm going to step back. You do your own thing.
Yep.
And then at the end of that, you're like, wait a second, like maybe I don't know it all.
Hi guys, and welcome to this week's episode where we're going to be talking about taking aligned action in order to manifest your desires. So the way we want to start today's episode is actually by asking you as a listener a question. And that question is, what are you currently trying to manifest in your life? And what aligned actions are you taking in order to manifest that thing? And we're actually going to go ahead and answer that question for ourselves. So, Natalie, what are you trying to manifest, or what have you manifested recently?
I think the latest thing I manifested is a new venue for Magic Market. So I don't know if we know, but I host a spiritual niche market. And I've been looking to expand the market, and I've been actively looking for a new venue for how long now? Maybe like a year, I want to say. And I thought I lost all hope for a bit, but a year later, and I heard, I got a call back, and they let me know that they want to collab with the market and work with me. So I'm really excited about that. So what I'm currently manifesting with the market is just really expanding it and turning it into more of a spiritual event versus just a spiritual pop-up market.
Yeah. And I'm so excited for people to see what came together for you, because I literally could not think of a more perfect manifestation for you and for your markets. Like, it's everything about it is so perfect and so aligned. But one of the things I really want to emphasize with this manifestation for you is the action that you took behind it. Because you had this certain venue that you were like, this is the venue I want. This is where I want to host my markets. And it did require you to take action, and even action where you were like not settling and really like doing what needed to be done in order to manifest it. So can you share some of that process? Because I think that's what we really want to talk about in today's episode, is that with manifesting, sometimes people look down on manifesting because they think it just means saying like, I want this, and then you just sit there and do nothing. But it's actually quite the opposite. So can you share with us what that process looked like? What action did you take in order to manifest this venue?
Yeah. So with manifesting, I believe I think there are about like 3 steps that you should take when you're manifesting, which first is setting the intention. Second is taking the aligned action, and third is detaching and allowing for the universe to hand it to you in divine timing. Sometimes we get very, very impatient, and we're like, divine timing, like I want it now. But so about a year ago, I would say even probably a little bit more than a year ago, I had the vision to really expand Magic Market into more of a spiritual wellness event. And that vision was very clear in my mind, where I wanted live music, I wanted services being provided, I want people to bring their yoga mats, picnic blankets, eat on the grass, and lay on the grass while they're receiving sound healing, while at the same time being able to buy spiritual products. And then also at the same time having vegan food and whole foods, because as I mentioned, I've been vegan for so long, and I really wanted to bring that aspect to the market, because personally I just believe that the more whole foods we eat, the cleaner we become, and to me I just feel like it raises your vibration. So I really wanted to intertwine that with my market. So I had like this big vision, and I thought about multiple places, but there was one place that I love so much here in LA. And I just thought, I'm like, oh my God, like this place would literally be so perfect. But I don't know if the market would be able to afford it, because I didn't know if it would be like super expensive or whatnot. And I also looked at another venue in my city, but they weren't taking bookings for any sort of events, because they haven't reopened since COVID. But to me now, kind of like looking, I'm like, okay, that wasn't my place, that I wasn't meant to go there. And so I had reached out to this venue in LA, which is a museum with beautiful Victorian homes. And if we don't know, I'm a huge Victorian era lover. those homes bring me so much joy, and I feel like I've had a past life in the Victorian era, and just being around the homes brings me so much emotion. I start to get so teary-eyed. It just feels so familiar to me. So I took aligned action in the sense, after I was done setting my intention, I took aligned action in contacting different venues that I felt would fit the vibe for the market, and then I reached out to this specific venue. I want to say maybe about like 2 or 3 times, and I never got a call back. For some reason, I just never got a call back. And but I just kept throwing that intention out there, and I still kept working at my markets and still kept actively looking for places, and still did my best to grow my markets. And the markets did start growing. We started to grow the foot traffic. And then about a year later, so I'm kind of like losing a little bit of hope, because I'm like, oh my God, like I really want to grow the markets, but I feel like I'm being hindered by the universe, and I'm having all of these little like micro issues, like what's happening. And so many intuitives told me, like, you're having all of these little issues because you're meant to grow your market elsewhere. Like, don't stop looking for places. And I'm like, but I'm so impatient. And this is where we also have to practice detaching when we're trying to manifest, because the more we are so attached to the outcome, the more we push our manifestations away. So we want to make sure that we're clear with our intention, taking the aligned action, but at the same time detach from the outcome and allow the universe to deliver. So a year later, I went on to the website and I saw that they revamped everything with new contact information. And funny enough, I called, and then the next day they gave me a call back, and then that person put me in contact with the executive director. And this lady was just so excited to like collab with me. And it wasn't even in a way where it's like, oh, you need to invest X, Y, and Z to have your market. They wanted to do it in a way where we collab together and grow the market together. So I thought that was really beautiful. And come to find out, she's a spiritual woman that's been looking for someone like me. And I'm just like, oh my God, like this is like literally so perfect. I was so excited that day, you guys. I could literally not do any work because my mind just kept going, and I was calling everyone I knew, because I was like, oh my God, like I can't believe that this is happening. But that's basically like what I did to manifest that venue for Magic Market, and I'm just really excited to see where it's going to take the market.
I'm so excited for you. Like, it literally is the perfect venue for you. I can't think of like a more perfect venue for what you do.
Yeah, I know, me too. I was telling my mom, I'm like, Mom, I'm so excited to be sitting with all of the vendors in our canopies, and in front of us we have this view of beautiful Victorian homes in front of us. I'm like, that's what I'm most excited for.
So you.
Yeah, and then I'm also so excited for all of my vendors and everyone in the community to just grow their businesses, because the executive director told me, oh, when we have events, we expect like 1,000 people to show up to these events. And I'm like, oh my God, like, do you know what how 1,000 people can impact all of the people in the community?
Yes.
And it's just, I'm just like so excited.
So I feel like the fact that you are going to take these small business owners into a space where they're going to be exposed to that many people is going to be life-changing for them. Yeah. And it's so exciting. There's a few things I wrote down from what you were saying that just like really stood out to me. So the first one was how you said that you started by getting really clear on what you wanted, which was like you actually visualizing what you wanted. Like, you created a picture in your mind of what you wanted to manifest. And I think that that's like such a key step to the start of our manifestation, is really seeing it, visualizing it, and understanding what it looks like, because I don't think you can manifest or create something that you don't see for yourself, you know.
Absolutely.
So I love how you said that. The other thing too was how you talked about how even though there were these unknowns, like, you still held on to the belief, because you could have easily been like, well, I don't know if it's going to cost too much, or I don't know about the money piece. And I think that when we're manifesting, we are required to put our fears to the side or the unknowns to the side, and to really believe in something bigger. Because if it's something that you can do yourself, you know, like, let's say if you were like, oh yeah, well, I have the money, I'll pay for it, I'll get the venue, I'll do this. It's like, it doesn't require you to have faith beyond yourself, because it's something you can do.
Yeah.
You know, so I love how you shared that there were things you didn't know, but that still didn't stop you.
Yeah. There were little moments that I thought, you know, I'm having all of these micro issues, not only like with the city and then with some of like the business tenants. So I thought, maybe it's not meant for me to have the markets for a little bit. But then I thought, like, no, I think the universe is presenting all of these little micro issues because you're meant to move the market elsewhere.
Yes.
And grow it beyond to what you can do here in your parking lot. So, but there were times that I wanted to just throw in the towel and be like, you know what, maybe the universe is telling me this is not supposed to happen, but no, at the end of it, the universe delivered and said, no, I have a bigger plan for you, and you need to trust.
Yep. And that's actually the next thing I wrote down, was that you trusted the redirection. You were, you were like, okay, if not here, then where? Like, where else? It didn't mean give up and throw in the towel. It just meant, if this is not the path, find the path that is the path. And I feel like you did that. You could have easily been like, okay, no more markets, but it was like, okay, markets, but where? One of
my vendors said something really beautiful last night, because I shared the news with her, and she said, I'm so excited and I'm so happy for you. This is your old life meets your new life. And I was like,
oh, I love that. Yes, like a past life.
My past life meeting like my now version.
Oh my
and
gosh.
Just like
in modern times.
Yes.
That gives me chills. I love that. The other thing too was like the divine, I feel like it was a combination of divine timing, belief, and action, because it was almost like all those elements needed to come together, of the right people coming into their positions, you seeing the website again and seeing like, oh, it changed, and then you taking action, because you could have easily in that moment been like, well, it changed, but it didn't work last time, so I'm just not going to try. But again, like, you didn't throw in the towel. You were still, I feel like you were persistent in your manifestation, because you knew that it was yours. And I think that when we believe with so much confidence that something belongs to us, we're going to be persistent with it. Absolutely. You're not going to just give up on it. Like, you're going to hold on to that belief. And then the last thing I wrote down was that you manifested each other. Like, when the lady said that she'd been looking for somebody like you, and you'd been wanting to literally be there. Like, I do believe that when we're manifesting, like, we have to realize it's not just us manifesting that thing. Like, that thing is also manifesting us. Like, people are manifesting you. So you guys are like co-creating manifestation. It's never just like one way. It's that understanding of like, what I am manifesting is also manifesting me. And when you see that, you understand we're two energies that are gravitating toward each other. And that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and come to think of it, I don't think she has been the executive director of the museum for such a long time now. I think she might be a little bit newer.
I was wondering that, because when you said everything changed, I'm like, I wonder if these were like new people that came in.
I think so. I definitely think so. And I think that's why I didn't work out when I wanted it to work out, because things just weren't aligning as the universe needed it to be. And now this person that has also been trying to manifest, working with someone like me, has now finally been offered the position to do so. So
I love that. Oh my gosh.
Exciting things happening.
Yes.
So if you're around the LA area, please keep an eye out for Magic Market. And if you want to come join us on a whole spiritual pop-up wellness event, please come.
It's going to be amazing.
Yes.
I feel like it's just going to blow up. I really do.
I think so too.
Which is exciting. Oh my God.
Very exciting.
I don't know. I feel like the timing, it's like it was meant to happen now,
I absolutely agree with that.
1000%.
So now I want to ask you, what have you manifested, or what are you looking to manifest currently?
I'm scared to like share.
Oh my God, I think I know.
What?
I don't know. You say it. What do you think I know?
What do you think I want to say?
Your person?
Yes. I was like, wait, whisper it. Yeah, but it's so funny, because it's like everything I just said right now, it's like it goes out of my head.
Yes.
It goes to this topic.
We had a very long conversation
literally
pressing record.
But I think that's why I want to share it, because it's very vulnerable, it's very raw, and I think a lot of people can probably identify with it, where like, I guess my story isn't something I have manifested, it's something I'm actually trying to manifest, which is my person. And it's been such a freaking mission for me. And I think what's funny to me is like I have manifested so many things in my life. Like I've literally manifested homes, vacations, and I can manifest guys, but for me it's like I want to manifest like my guy, and that's I think something that I'm currently working on and really trying to figure out, because I'm just at a place in my life where I'm like, yes, I could manifest dates. Yes, I can manifest guys, but I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in manifesting my person. So it's almost like I'm having to learn, okay, I've manifested in this area, but how do I manifest the specific thing that I desire now? So I feel like that's what I'm actively working on.
Question. So, what do you think has been holding you back from finding your person, or what do you think you need to do different this time around now that you're taking this different approach?
Yes.
What do you think you need to be doing, or what do you think the universe is like telling you, like, hey, we have to switch directions?
Yeah, I know exactly what it is. I know previously, like, I was not ready, and I think it was because I was so in my masculine energy. And so of course, like when you're in your masculine energy, you can, as a woman, you're not going to attract a masculine man. So I think that I needed to go through that journey that I've been on of embracing my more feminine self, leaning more into my femininity, and like really understanding what that means and what that looks like for myself and in the context of a relationship. So I think that I wasn't ready. I needed to still do that work on myself in order to actually be a match for what I want to call in. And I know what I need to do differently now is like be in my feminine energy, because I'm such a go-getter. And I think especially as entrepreneurs, like for me, it's like I know how to make shit happen. And when it comes to love, I feel like I'm not supposed to make shit happen, especially if I'm in my feminine energy. Like I can't be the one that's going out and like getting the man and finding the man and leading the relationship and doing all the things. And I think that's what my experience has been so far. So now I'm having to learn how to be in my feminine and what that looks like, and I think that's why you and I have conversations about it, because I'm constantly like, it's new for me, so that's why I'm like, do I do this? Do I not do that? Because I'm like, I know what old me would do. And I'm trying not to be old me. I'm trying to be new me, but I'm still trying her on, and I'm still learning her, and I'm still understanding what she looks like within the context of love. So
would you say that you're in the phase of your manifestation of, because it sounds to me like you have your clear intention of who and what you're looking for, and it sounds like you've taken aligned action, because you've not only taken action to date, but you've also taken the aligned action to switch your mindset and the way you approach dating. So would you say you're in the detachment phase right now, just allowing for the universe to deliver in its divine timing?
Yes and no.
Okay.
I think sometimes I also get impatient. So I think that's my struggle, is like I can feel like for example, I could look back and say the last couple of weeks I was like detached, but then I'll get into an energy of like, okay, like, can we do this now? So I feel like I kind of shift back and forth, where I'll be detached and I'm like, it's fine. Like I focus on myself, and then I'll switch into like, but I want it now, So I think I still, the good thing though, is I feel like I'm more often in the detached energy. And then I have moments where I come back to the impatient energy, where before it was reversed. It was like impatient, a little moment of detachment, and then back into the impatience. And I feel like now it's mostly detachment and then like moments of impatience. So I think that I'm getting better. And just I'm even in a way maybe still working through like the final fears, the final limiting beliefs that I have around it, because I know one of the limiting beliefs that's been coming up for me is like feeling like, is there really somebody out there that's a match for me? And I just kind of look around at people and I'm like, well, they found someone that was a match, they found someone, and I'll like see all these people and think, well, there was a person for them,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but I think there's still a part of me that's like, it's hard to believe, especially when you don't have it yet. And this is where the detachment and the faith really comes in. It's hard to believe like there's somebody who is a match for me. So,
So, right now that you said that, I started thinking,
mm-hmm.
do you firmly believe that there is someone for someone? Or do you think that they're compatible and they make it work?
So that's something that I go back and forth with, because I think for me, like, I have the belief that we have multiple soulmates. I think that we've had past lives with a lot of people. So I think that we have multiple soulmates that come into our life. Even like, for example, guys I've dated or relationships I've been in, I believe there's soulmates that have come in. And, you know, prior to coming into this lifetime, we had some sort of agreement of like, okay, I'm going to come in and like trigger the shit out of you so you can go heal, you know?
Yikers. I personally believe that's more of a twin flame.
Or that, it could be that, you know? Or it could just be like, hey, we're going to be in each other's life for a season, and then that's it. And we're going to help each other grow and learn. But I do believe that there is like, we have multiple soulmates, but I also feel like there's someone that could be like our best match in this lifetime.
I agree.
Like, that's how I see it. And I think that's what gets me, you know? But sometimes I'm like, am I screwing myself over by thinking that?
Because now I'm wondering, are you trying to manifest your soulmate, or are you trying to manifest your twin flame?
I feel like soulmate.
I don't know. By what I'm hearing, I feel like you're trying to manifest your twin flame. Because I'm like, oh, your person, someone that you've done life with before, that you guys are a good match for each other. When I think of energies that vibrate like on the same level but have multiple lifetimes together, and they were once one energy that have now split into two, that's more of a twin flame.
So I guess, do you want to, in case someone doesn't know what a twin flame is, do you want to like explain what that is?
Sure. So a twin flame is, you were once an energy that has now been split into two energies in this lifetime, which is why sometimes when you meet someone, when you meet your twin flame, they are a direct mirror of you, and you will get trigger the hell out of you and the person that you're dating, because you're literally a direct reflection of one another. And the only way a twin flame relationship can work is if two individuals have done the inner work and the healing to become the best versions of themselves, to then come together and create a beautiful, harmonious like relationship. But if you have two people that have not healed and are very toxic, and they haven't like awakened, you will get like one of the most toxic relationships that you can ever find. And for some reason, these relationships become so addicting. It's like you can't get enough of one another, even though you can't stand each other, but you also love each other.
And see, that's what scares me about saying like, yeah, I want my twin flame, because I'm like, oh, I don't know, that doesn't sound fun.
It can be if you're on this journey and you're like, man, like I've done all of this work and they've done all of this work, and you guys come together back in this lifetime, you can have one of the most beautifulest relationships that humans can ever find.
Yeah.
But it takes so much work for any twin flame relationship to work.
Yeah.
Soulmates are more people that you've had different soul contracts with. And you guys keep coming back, and you guys can find each other, and like you said, you can be in here and you can be in each other's life for a different season. It doesn't have to be forever, but soulmates can be found in the form of friends, parents, partners, romantic relationships. It's not necessarily like, oh, like they have to be my lover. They can literally just be like your sister. They can be your mom. They can be your dad. But they are, it's a connection that you understand each other on a soul, a deep level. Yeah. And you feel like you've probably have known them in a past life, which is sometimes you're like, oh, like, I feel like I know you. Like, I feel like I've met you before. I feel like I just understand you. That's more of a soul mate. The twin flames are kind of like a chaotic, it's like getting two like flames and like creating this big ass like
fire.
You
know, I wonder, because I do feel in a way like I'm trying to call in like my ultimate person, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know, but sometimes I'm like, do I just need to pick someone?
But then I think if we all had the idea of wanting to find our twin flame, I think we would block ourselves. You know,
Yeah.
because sometimes in this lifetime, maybe we're not meant to find our twin flame in
Yeah.
this lifetime.
So that's the thing. I'm like, how do I know when it's the person that I'm supposed to
You'll
be
know.
with?
You'll feel it.
Yeah. And see, that's the thing. I haven't felt that yet. And that's why I'm like, I've just known like, this isn't it. This isn't it. This isn't it,
Yeah.
you know? So I think that's what I'm holding on to, is that belief that like when I meet that person, I'll know and I'll be like, this is it. Not because it's perfect, but just because there's a knowing, you know?
But sometimes that knowing doesn't come initially either.
Yeah.
Sometimes it can take some time, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
But we all had different journeys.
That's true.
You know, and every relationship is different. So just because someone will know off the bat just by seeing them walk down the street doesn't mean that that's what's meant to happen for you. Maybe you're meant to be with someone for a while and then you're like, oh my God, like I just realized like you and I are like so perfect for each other and we're meant to be together forever, and the two of you feel like that. But sometimes it takes a while for you to know if someone is your person. I think sometimes if we get too caught up in this is how it should happen, sometimes it just won't happen because we're in our own way.
Think. Yeah.
We have to allow for the universe to just unfold things to us.
Yeah. And I do feel like I'm kind of in that final stage of getting out of the way, because I think I was very much in the way of manifesting my
Many
person.
people block their manifestations because they get too much in the way.
Yep.
They try to control the universe too much, that then the universe is like, okay, well, you're the one that's in control, then not me.
So I have no place to work.
I have no place to work. I'm going to step back. You do your own thing.
Yep.
And then at the end of that, you're like, wait a second, like maybe I don't know it all.
Yeah.
Maybe I should have just allowed for the universe to work its magic and for me to have trust in the universe.
Yeah. One of the things I think about is like, I'll tell my clients, like, don't be a helicopter mom. You know, like, don't be a helicopter mom over your manifestation or your business or whatever it is, because when you're doing that, you're like restricting the energy and you're not allowing any space for the universe to work and to flow. So if you're just like hovering over the manifestation or, you know, and whatever it is you want, then there's no room for anything to happen.
Well, think about it. Let's say you found like this really cute guy, right? And you're like, oh my God, I really like this guy. Like, I really want to date him. And you're constantly hounding him. You're constantly chasing him.
That'd be so annoying.
You're constantly attaching yourself onto him. What do you think he's going to do? He's going to detach himself from you and he's going to walk away. Because naturally when you are... when you push too much towards something, you push whatever you're trying to manifest further away from you. So I always like to remind myself that, like, hey, like, just slow down a little bit, allow for the universe to work its magic, because the more you keep pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, the more you're going to push it away from you.
Yeah, because if you chase something, you give it a reason to run away.
It's the chasing, yes. That's the word I was looking
because
for.
I feel like, I don't know why I think of the example of, like, dogs when they get out and the owners are trying to get them, so they start chasing them, and the dogs think it's a game, so they just run. And I always tell people when I'm in that situation, I'm like, stop running. If you just stop and you stand still, the dog will come to you. But the fact that you're chasing them, they think you're playing and they run away. And I feel like it's the same with our manifestations, where like if you chase it, it runs away. Like it just pushes it away, versus if you just stand still, it will come to you.
So then now I have another question for you, because I think some people can get a little bit confused. It's like, okay, well, isn't that taking aligned action? What's the difference between taking aligned action and chasing your manifestation? What do you think that is?
So I think aligned action is, I think it's really about the energy behind the action and the intention behind the action. So for example, I could go on a date with the intention of like, this better be my guy. If it's not a guy, then I was wasting my time, and I need to know right then in that moment that he is my person. Otherwise, it's not going to work. Notice how that energy feels so like, ugh. You know, it's like if I was going on a date with myself, I'd be like, ew, get away from me. It doesn't feel good. Versus if the energy is, I'm going to go on this date because I want to show the universe that I'm open and available and ready to call in my person, and I'm just going to have fun and be myself and trust that, like, if this is meant to be, it'll work out. If it doesn't, it won't work out, and I will keep going and find my person. That is different. It's the same action, but the energy and the intention behind it is different, you know. And you could have done the same with your venue. You could have been like hounding them via email, and your energy being like, they better reply or they better work, or, you know. And I think that would have repelled them from responding to you. But I think your energy was like, I know this is my place, I believe it, like I have faith. And I think that's what changed the outcome of the situation. You know, we live in a world where everything is energy, whether we realize it or not, and everything is just responding to our energy, you know. And I also feel like with aligned action, I do think that with manifesting, it comes down to taking consistent smaller steps. I do think there's moments in time where we're meant to take big leaps, and you'll know because you'll feel it, like, oh, this is a big leap moment. But for the most part, I think aligned action is like the smaller, consistent things that most people don't want to do or aren't willing to do because it can feel very mundane. But it's like, that's the thing that gets you what you want. You know, like for you, it's like sending those emails and following up and checking the website. It wasn't this like magical moment. It was you being consistent, you know, and you doing what you needed to do. And then that created this magical moment. So that's how I see aligned action. But how do you see it?
I see it very similar. I do think we should be taking steps towards our manifestation almost daily. I do believe that. I do think it depends differently on what you're trying to manifest. But I do think we should be taking small steps towards our manifestations almost daily, whether that's looking at the intention that you wrote down, doing some visualization behind your manifestation. And that's something that a lot of people don't talk about, is the visualization behind manifesting. They just think like, oh, I have this intention, I'm going to write it down, I'm going to declare it to the universe. But there's also this little missing piece where you have to energetically envision yourself in the energy of what you are trying to manifest. So like, let's say Natalia, she was manifesting her apartment on the beach, which she very much did a few years back. And like if she came to me, she's like, I'm really wanting to manifest my dream apartment on the beach. I would then tell her like, okay, well, get very clear with your intention. Envision yourself waking up in your dream apartment. How do you feel? What does that look like? What are you smelling? What are you feeling? What are you tasting? And pay attention to those emotions, because that little piece a lot of people don't talk about is getting into that energy, like really getting into that energy to be in tune with that reality. And then the aligned action is going to look at the apartments on the beach, putting in the applications, sending out the emails, and then detaching and allowing the universe to respond with that dream apartment. And then the other part of the action that I would consider that's not aligned action, where you're chasing, is if you're constant, like let's say you place an application for this apartment that you really, really want, but every like few hours of the day you're calling the landlord like, hey, did I get it? Are there any other applications that submitted? The next day, hey, I want to know, did you get my application? Did you blah, 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 blah. That's chasing your manifestation. Versus submitting your application, sitting with the energy, sitting with the intention, detaching and allowing the universe to deliver. But that's like my little example of how I would, explain the difference between really chasing and taking aligned action.
Yeah, and I do feel like when I think of the things I've accomplished in my life, it was like you were saying, it's like the daily or almost daily steps, that's what really creates that bigger picture. It's not, oh, I did it once, so it should work. It's really being consistent with what you're doing. So I feel like if there's anything in your life that you're currently trying to manifest, ask yourself, what's a baby step I can take today? What's the aligned action? How can I embody it? How can I visualize it? How can I see it? Because that's how you're going to create it. It's not just going to happen. And I feel like most people tend to be one or the other. They either tend to be very like, oh, I just believe and I do nothing. Or they're like, I take too much action and I'm not trusting enough. So if you're either or, like try to find that balance and come back to the middle and really like, bring in more of the faith or bring in more of the action if you're lacking either or.
I agree.
So, to wrap up today's episode, we kind of want to ask you that question again of what is it that you're manifesting in your life right now, and what is the aligned action that you're taking? And I really like the 3 steps that Natalie outlined for manifesting. So, do you want to share those, and maybe people can take those as their homework and to dos from today's episode?
Sure. So I would really like for you guys to think about that one thing. Let's just focus on one goal. What are you looking to manifest? Okay, think about that. The first thing I want you to do is write that manifestation on a piece of paper. Okay? And when you're done putting it on a piece of paper, I want you to sit in meditation. You can sit in silence, or you can sit with some sound bowls. And like on Spotify, you can search up like sound bowls for manifesting. And then place yourself in that energy. So like, let's say you're trying to manifest losing 20 pounds, and you want to shrink your waist, grow your booty because summer is coming. I want you to really think. Let's think. What does that version of you feel like? How is she dressing? How do you feel when you look at yourself in the mirror? What is she eating? And then really get into that vibration and really get into that energy. So once you've set your intention, do the visualization, feel it to the core, feel that energy to the core. Then I want you to take aligned action. That aligned action will be, if it's working out 3 times a week, working out 5 times a week, eating whole foods, drinking more water, that's the aligned action. And then just allow for the universe and for your body to respond. And within a few months, you'll notice that manifestation is coming to life. So those are the 3 steps that I want you to take. Is the intention, the energy. Second, we'll be taking the aligned action. And third is detaching and just allowing for the universe to deliver. And those are the 3 steps.
I love that.
To manifest. I think some people can get tricked up with manifesting and think that it's like this elaborate like game plan that you have to follow, but it's so simple.
Simple.
It is so simple. And I think as humans we overcomplicate things,
Yeah.
which is why we block our manifestations.
Yep. I was literally thinking like just don't overcomplicate it. And we love getting messages from you guys. So if you guys want to message us and let us know, hey, this is what I'm manifesting, just to kind of share, in that belief and energy with you, we would love to hear from you guys. Let us know what you're currently manifesting in your life. And we hope you enjoyed today's episode.
Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.